afternoon. It is a great day in Annotto Bay, and we are very happy to be here. How are you? But before we get into anything else, we stand for the national anthem. Thank you. You may be seated. What a beautiful day in Annotto Bay. I think the only thing that eclipses the beauty of the coast is the beauty of the people and the warmth of the people. So once again, Annotto Bay, how are you this afternoon? It is such a good day because we are handing over officially the Annotto Bay Coastal Protection Project. It's a sub-project of the Disaster Vulnerability Project, which was implemented by JCIF and funded by the government of Jamaica through a loan agreement with the World Bank. The project supports the government of Jamaica's disaster risk management plan that promotes climate and disaster risk management in the wider context of sustainable development and in the wider context of making sure that we keep this country wonderful for the beautiful people. So can I get a round of applause to everybody who is here this afternoon as we celebrate this groundbreaking activity. You can see before Annotto Bay Coastal Protection Project. Look at after and how amazing that will be. We're going to start with some opening remarks from the chairman of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, who's with us this afternoon, Dr. Wayne Henry, CD, JP. Please welcome Dr. Henry.
Master of Ceremonies, Miss Delia Harris, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew M. Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn, Minister of State in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and Member of Parliament for St. Mary Southeastern, Miss Lilia Barunchik, World Bank representative for the Caribbean and other members, representatives from the World Bank, Mr. Omar Sweeney, Managing Director, Jamaica Social Investment Fund, and other representatives from the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, Ms. Sheila McDonald Millen, representatives from the PIOJ, Planning Institute of Jamaica, representatives from the St. Mary Municipal Corporation, representatives from the National Works Agency, contractors of the project, S&G Road Surfacing Material Limited, consultants of the project, Smith Warner International, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Somehow we say it twice. Good afternoon. True story, we're in a JCIF board meeting and discussing possible funding for areas of the agriculture sector. And one of our board members who is very knowledgeable in the area says, do you know that the bee population is declining? The bee population, not just in Jamaica, but globally. It's affecting pollination levels, it's affecting bee production. I was chairing the meeting and I said, you know that literacy levels are falling also among the bees? She said, really? I said, yes. You don't see as many spelling bees anymore. It's a bad joke. It's truly a privilege and honor for me as chairman of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, to extend a warm welcome on this significant occasion. The official opening ceremony of the Annotto Bay Coastal Protection Project, a sub-project of the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project, DVRP, implemented by the JSIF. Today we celebrate the successful completion of this project, a transformative milestone that underscores the government's commitment to sustainable development and resilient infrastructure for Jamaica's coastal communities. This project signals not only progress, but partnership. And I take this opportunity to express heartfelt appreciation to all the key stakeholders who contributed to this achievement. The Government of Jamaica, the World Bank, the JSIF team led by Managing Director Omar Sweeney, the National Works Agency, Smith Warner International, S&G Road Surfacing Material Limited, the St. Mary Municipal Corporation, and importantly, the community representatives. And it's good to see Member of Parliament down here also. Ladies and gentlemen, this project is about more than constructing coastal barriers. It is about ensuring safety, strengthening resilience, and preserving livelihoods, particularly for our fisherfolk and other residents whose lives are closely tied to the sea. This is not a standalone effort. It is part of Jamaica's broader national strategy to build climate resilience and safeguard critical infrastructure in vulnerable coastal zones. In closing, I want to say to the residents, this project belongs to you. I urge you to protect this investment, keep the beach area clean, embrace sustainable practices, and let us work together to ensure that this coastline remains strong, safe, and beautiful, not only for ourselves, but for generations to come. Once again, welcome to this special occasion, and please enjoy the proceedings. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Henry. You didn't see the officers around. We're going to ticket you for that joke. Right? But very importantly, this project is about safety, it's about security, and it is about resilience. And thank you so much for underscoring that for us. As we told you, this project is funded by the Government of Jamaica through a loan agreement with the World Bank. And coming up next to deliver her remarks is the Country Director for the Caribbean World Bank Group, Miss Lilia Barunchik.
Good afternoon. It's so nice to see so many people. Master of Ceremonies, Miss Dahila Hare. Most Honorable Andrew Holmes, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Honorable Norman Dunn, Minister of State in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security and Member of Parliament for St. Mary South Eastern. Dr. Wayne Henry, Chairman, Jamaica Social Investment Fund. Mr. Omar Sweeney, Managing Director, Jamaica Social Investment Fund, and other representatives from the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. Yeah, thank you for fixing this because it was too high. Representatives from St. Mary Municipal Corporation, representatives from the National Works Agency, contractors of the project, consultants of the project, members of the media, but most importantly, the members of the community. I'm very happy to be here today. I'm always happy to see the results of our joint work. I often get the question, what does the World Bank do? This is what the World Bank does. The World Bank helps communities to be more resilient, to resolve their most critical issues, to build schools, to build roads. And I'm very proud that in partnership with the government of Jamaica, in partnership with JSIF, in partnership with the community, we were able to resolve a sustainability and a resilience issue in your community. In addition to the results, I want to highlight the issue of partnership, because I understand that the community was involved from the beginning in this project. This project also helped create jobs. This project also, with your support and your involvement, has the potential of being sustainable over time and to build more resilience over time, to restore the very beautiful beach and to protect the infrastructure around this area. I would also like to say that the World Bank implements many projects like this in Jamaica and throughout the Caribbean. Building resilience in the Caribbean is one of our key priorities, because we know that resilient communities have a better future. Resilient communities have the possibility of creating more jobs and upgrading the quality of life for people in the Caribbean. We were happy to partner with the government of Jamaica and with JCF and with everybody involved and with the community here in this project, and we will be very happy to continue partnering with you in similar projects to make Jamaica a better place to live for everyone. Thank you.
Can we get a better round of applause for Lynette? Thank you so much for your partnership. Now, one of the things, the Annotto Bay Beach area has been experiencing moderate to severe shoreline erosion since 1988. That's a long time. And this increases with the risk of frequent and severe storms routinely being experienced by Jamaica. And so we're very happy today that we're here. And the agency tasked all the time with implementing these projects is JCF, and we have the managing director with us this afternoon. So please give a warm Annotto Bay welcome to Mr. Omar Sweeney, managing director of JCF.
Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, to Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn, Member of Parliament, Lilia Burunchik, World Bank Country Head, and other World Bank officials, to my chairman and Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. I also greet other distinguished guests from OPM, members of the media, community members, CSDC, good afternoon. And you know, I'm always excited when I'm in communities like this. I'm more excited when the project is completed. And today, once again, a good Friday, a great Friday to be here. And we're really here under the auspices of climate change and the effects that climate change is having on small island development states, right? There's no question that every Jamaican should, by now, see the intense storms, the rains. We just heard about the rains in Kingston and in the Junction. That's happening, and it's as a result of climate change. And the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project is a project that the government of Jamaica specifically embarked on in partnership with the World Bank to build our resilience to climate change. And our Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, was tasked in 2016, along with the Prime Minister of Canada, to co-chair and mobilize climate finance to countries that require this type of assistance. Now, let's speak about a few facts. In Jamaica, approximately 75% of our productive industries are near to the coast. 82% of our townships are near to the coast. And so there's no question that with the erosion of coastlines, that we have to put in the mitigation methods to do this. The Disaster Vulnerability Project executed a number of initiatives to build our resilience in Jamaica. Since 2016, we have completed 3 fire stations. Prime Minister, you would remember, we opened one in Montego Bay. You were there. We opened one in St. Mary, not far from here in Port Maria. You were there. And we opened the one in Yallas. And the Prime Minister was also there. Today, we're here to open the Coastal Revetment Project in another vulnerable area of Jamaica. And we will also open on June the 10th the Myton Gully Drainage Project in Old Harbour, another vulnerable area, showing the investments that have been going into the country because of climate resilience. Now, beyond infrastructure, I just want to give you some numbers here. $100 million was invested in our seismic system in Jamaica. We have rebuilt the seismic architecture and infrastructure for the country. $40 million was invested in upgrading our building codes. Another $70 million has developed the National Risk Information Platform, which is the database that ODPEM uses to determine the vulnerability in any particular area of the country. Beyond that, we've conducted a study of 8 critical coastal towns in Jamaica that are similarly vulnerable to this type of coastal erosion. Many Jamaicans know about Hellshire, but it's not just Hellshire. Hellshire is most significant, but there are 8 other coastal towns: Savlamar, Ocho Rios, Alligator Pond, Manchonil, and right here in Annotto Bay, that are vulnerable to this type of coastal erosion. So there's no question about what happens when you have these types of storms and residents are impacted. You can tell that from the video behind me what was happening here. The Member of Parliament is on here lamenting what's happening to the town as the sea started to come in on him, right? And so this solution that we have provided here, very important. It may not look like much, right? But what has happened since we have completed this project, you can see new sand has already started to accumulate on the beach, right? You can see that this area is no longer vulnerable as what you're seeing behind me on the video. And so we will continue to provide these types of investments to protect this roadway, right, which is a very critical connector to Eastern Jamaica and into the town of Annotto Bay. And so we're glad to be here. We're pleased and honored to have worked in the community without incident. I want to recognize the National Works Agency as well, supervisors of the project. I want to recognize Smith Warner International, a Jamaican company, providing Jamaican solutions in engineering. And so the contractors, S&G, local contractors, engineers, supervisors, please give them a hand. And so once again, we're honored to have successfully completed, and we certainly look forward to further engagements like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sweeney, and thank you for reminding us of where we're coming from. I looked at the video and I was like, I can't believe that this is where we are now. And to be honest, I thought you brought sand. When you said, no, when you said it's generating new sand, and you look at what it was before and what has happened, this is amazing. Can we get another round of applause? I love it. So I know our next speaker is beside himself, because he's been campaigning for this for some time, because he knows just how much it's been affecting his community. And so to bring his remarks, it's my pleasure to welcome the Minister of State in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, but most importantly, Member of Parliament for St. Mary Southeastern, Dr. Honorable Norman Dunn. Please put your hand together for Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn.
Most Honorable Prime Minister, Delia Harris. Where's Delia? Delia, remember you have to get a visa to come here, right? I want to recognize one of the hardest working leader amongst others here in Jamaica, Dr. Wayne Henry, chairman of JSIF, Miss Leela Barunchik, country director of for the Caribbean World Bank Group, Mr. Omar Sweeney, managing director of JSIF, our councillor Hugh Bryan, representatives from the business community, see Mr. Reynolds from JSIF, our own Superintendent Wallace, and other distinguished members in blue who are here today, staff of OPM, staff of JSIF, the citizens of Annotto Bay and Southeast St. Mary by extension, good afternoon and welcome to my town. So I stand before you here today, not just as a representative, not just as a leader, but as son of Annotto Bay. This town is my home. This town is my birthplace. And I love this town to the very core of my being. I remember from the video you saw there, I actually came from church one day and the sea was in spate. And I took a video and I frantically sent it off to Mr. Sweeney and said, Mr. Sweeney, we have to do something here in Annotto Bay. And imagine today we are here, a culmination of that hard work that has been done along with the entire team, including NAA, which I see here, and the other important persons, including the municipal corporation. So today, as we officially open this beach refreshment project, I am filled with pride and gratitude, and yes, deep emotions, because what we're witnessing here today is more than just stones and sand. It is rebirth. It is a renewal of hope, a transformation that is taking place right before our own eyes. Just look around you. Take in the view, the splendid coastline here of Annotto Bay, the calm seas and the breeze on your face. This place is beautiful. This place is sacred. This place holds memories for generations, and it is now being preserved for generations to come. I invite you all, one day for persons who are not from here, to come back, sit down, breathe in the air, relax, come in the evenings and enjoy the sunset. Plan your weddings here. Have a picnic with your family and let the children run free. This is now a place of civility, a place of joy, and a place of peace and love. And this is very personal to me. Mr. Prime Minister, right across the road here is the Annotto Bay Gospel Chapel, where I was christened. Just down the street here is the library that I used to visit as a child, dreaming, reading, learning. And this very beach, this was our playground. This was where we played, we splashed, and we grew. For persons who don't know, let me educate you a little bit about this area. Do you know that right here, right across in the sea, was famously called Deep Hole? And it is so because it's very deep actually. This is where the Prime Minister's ships used to come in this area. Ships used to dock right across here. And if you look in the distance, all the way up there, you will see some piles in the sea, because that was also a place where the ships used to come, and it's standing here still today. This town is more than a dot on the map. It is a story. It is the land of the Annotto plant, and hence the Annotto Bay. And you will see when you take a walk along here, there's a mural on the wall that indicates to you what that plant looked like. It was a red plant. So it's right there for you to see. Right down there is a small bridge that used to be called the Boot and Stocking Bridge. And there was a name, this name was there because, as you know, this entire area was a plantation. And when persons are coming from Company Hill and in the distant areas, they would come to Boot and Stocking Bridge. And that's where they would take off their shoes and put on their boots and stocking. Hence it's called the Boot and Stocking Bridge. Now, there used to be a plantation called the Grazing Estate. And my father used to work at that estate. My mother used to sell at the gate of that estate. That's how far we are coming from. Yes, so I stand here today. I do this with tears in my eyes because I know the journey of this town. This town has seen a share of so many things. But this town is resilient. This town is strong. This town will rise to any challenge that exists. And it is so because it's my town. We have seen more developments than any time in the history of Southeast St. Mary that is happening now. And thanks to PIOJ, thanks to JSIF, thanks to all the government agencies, thanks to the fiscal space that this government has opened up in this country to allow for these important upgrades to take place. Our hospital has been upgraded. We have 2 new wards at the hospital. Our clinic is now functioning better because the sea, up to 3 years ago, the sea was right on the wall of the clinic. And this particular project here has pushed the sea back all the way out. So the clinic is there for us to see. The fire station, as you can see there, the Prime Minister will speak a little bit more about these things, is in its final stage of development. And the market where I used to sell with my mother is undergoing refurbishing as we speak. The town is moving. For persons who are from here knows that one of my pet peeves is about the aesthetic of our place. The town must look like a town. The town must behave like a town. And therefore, we had an issue for persons like myself and others who went to the Annotto Bay Primary School knows for years we had a very difficult situation there. And what is that situation? We had dirty water, stagnant dirty water in front of that school for all the last 25 years. Unbelievable. And we had to fix it because this is my town. Roadworks are happening everywhere, right across the community. And very soon, for persons who live in the Camberwell area, Spark is just about to begin. We have pushed, and we continue to push for the upgrading and the development of our town. In Pleasant Hill, a very pleasant name, they can now play night volleyball because we have lights on their field. We have been advocating for smoother road conditions, and today they can drive much more comfortably. The Annotto Bay multipurpose complex has been rebuilt. When I was a child and later on in years, we had to hang our heads in shame because that once icon of this town was left to rot completely. And as a member of parliament, I decided that that will exist no more. And I sat out with the councillor here, you Brian, and the other persons here in Annotto Bay, and we completely refurbished that town, creating lights, seating, perimeter wall, new buildings, and now we are proud to host the largest night football league in all of St. Mary. In all of St. Mary. And we are not done. We are currently reconstructing a brand new netball court in Enfield and a volleyball sand court in Dover. Prime Minister Holness, we, the citizens here, We thank you very much. You have navigated this country through one of the most difficult periods of our lives, and that is the COVID period. And sometimes persons forget that we lost so many years because of COVID. But today, under your leadership, Jamaica is the darling of the world. The World Bank, the IMF, and all these international agencies have all looked to Jamaica because we have done what persons thought before was the unthinkable. We have turned our country to such a state that it is a rising star of this entire region. Let's be honest, and some persons do not understand that these things cannot happen in a vacuum. Good management of a country matters. Good management matters. And the Prime Minister has shown us that good management matters. You cannot build a hospital, fix road and protect coastlines if you do not manage this country properly. All this prosperity is a result of good and sound management. We are grateful for our partners and for S&G contractors who have done an outstanding job here. In fact, we're asking S&G and our representatives are here that they should set up a permanent office here in Annotto. To the police and the community group, and to my people here who are out in their numbers, we thank you all for coming, and we thank you, Prime Minister. Your presence here today shows a commitment to the growth of our town. And as we close this beautiful chapter and look forward to the next chapter, I want to personally welcome you all back again to the town. And for persons who have a time, you can visit an activity that we have here this evening at the Annotto High School, where we are recognizing and awarding the workers of this party. This, we see here, how we get things done. This is what prosperity looks like. This is what transformation looks like. This is why we all must choose Jamaica. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you all the contractors and the persons who have worked on this site. Thank you, Dane, who have been here with us all the time. And I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all the persons who are here from this town. We love you, we cherish you, and we welcome you with open arms to our beautiful town. This is our town, and we will always say, this is our town, or this is my town. Thank you very much, and may God continue to bless you. Shower Laborites.
Thank you very much, MP Dunn. Wow. We heard so much happening, not just in education, but in health, in climate, in emergency services, all around. MP Dunn, congratulations to you and your team here for all the work that's done. And I know I could tell how emotional you are about today. So we're coming to the picnic. When the picnic happening? Or the wedding, that's right. My grandfather works at Grazing, by the way. So me is a St. Mary girl. Can we hear it one more time? For MV Dunn? All right, so before we welcome the Honorable Prime Minister who will deliver the main address, we couldn't come to St. Mary and not have some entertainment, right? Not true? All right, so we have a lady. She is a multi-gold medal awardee in the JCDC Culinary Arts Competition, and she placed third in the CB Pan Chicken Competition. She's not cooking today. What she will be doing today is performing two pieces. One is called How Anansi Discovered St. Mary, and the other one is Godong Emmanuel Road Galamboy figure. We know it. Put your hands together for her. St. Gordon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Blessing my Prime Minister. Blessing everyone. Wow, I'm glad, Mr. Dunn, you said that we can have the wedding right here. Because this story is about, and Nancy, I look for your wife, if you have the wedding. All right. Good afternoon again, everyone. You never wonder why when you go a banana walk, you always see it full of cobweb or spider web? You ever wonder? Well, today, you're going to know the reason why. Well, a Nancy grandmother, all the way from Ghana, tell him that, my grandson, to find your future wife, you have to go to a island called Jamaica. And in that island, there is a beautiful parish called St. Mary. That is where your wife should be. So Anansi grew up and turned big man now and tell himself, say, he have to find his wife because he want to get married. So Anansi take plane and Anansi come and man the airport. When Anansi come out of the plane and he look, he not see no farm, a banana tree, nor coconut tree. So Anansi say, I couldn't this a picture of my wife there. So Anansi saw one lady and said to the lady, hello, miss. Good afternoon. You know, I am searching for my wife. Her name is Mary, and she come from a place where a lot of coconut trees, chocolate trees, and banana tree too. Do you know her? They said a place called St. Mary. The lady said to him, well, you are in Kingston, but to find St. Mary, you have to go halfway tree, and round the back, you'll see the cars that go to St. Mary. Ask any one of them if it's carrying to St. Mary. So Nancy was so, anxious to reach St. Mary to find his wife. And go on the back and go on the taxi. And the taxi driver carry him come to St. Mary. When Nancy reached Westmoreland Bridge, Nancy sees some coconut tree and some banana tree. Nancy jump out of the car. He not ask a question. And Nancy start walking upon the banana tree them. And upon the banana tree, when Nancy look, he see one man. He say, hello, sir. Hey, you know me, I look for my wife. Her name Mary. Hey, I'm try to find her. They say she live at one place where there's a lot of banana trees, coconut trees, and chocolate trees too. The man say, but wait, and our address is JP. The man say, JP, but you know they're the same man. You're a rich man. You have to just go around the road as a man and make a turn. And Nancy say, all right. And Nancy not for the instruction, And Nancy make one next turn and do a wrong turn. And Nancy reach from a rich man prison farm. Oh, man say, no, man, at the wrong place here, rich man. Just go down the road more and walk. Make a next turn. And Nancy walk. And Nancy reach Georgia St. Catherine. And one lady said to him, say, no, sir. You have to walk, go up the road. Then you turn. You go reach one place when you're in Drunker Spring. Turn back down the road. You go Richmond. And Nancy say, Drunker Spring? Why me don't want a drunker come pick me when they said, no, sir, don't worry, I said a drunker, no, I'll pick you. It's a river. And Nancy said, all right, we can stop and drink some water. And Nancy go back down the road and walk until he reach I Gate. When Nancy reach I Gate, and Nancy see one Rasta man and say, hello, sir. Rasta man say, Irie, you know me, I look for my wife. Her name is Mary. Her address is JP. She lives somewhere where a lot of banana tree, coconut tree, and chocolate tree too. Here the rest of man, no worry yourself, be blessing man, me car you go there. So the man put a Nancy on one car and carry him come where Grazine will be fine. JP, when a Nancy see you so much banana tree, and Nancy run out. And Nancy, where is Mary? Where is Mary? Where is Mary? The people then say, no Mary, no Olivia, man. And Nancy said, after me I come from so far. And Nancy starts set out in spider web all over fi find he wife. He say, anytime Mary come, the way boudoir. The way boudoir. All right, so from that day until now, that is why anytime you go a banana field, especially the ladies them, the wave always what? All right. Good on Emmanuel Road, girl and boy, figure broke rockstone. Good on Emmanuel Road, girl and boy, figure broke rockstone. Broke them one by one, broke them two by two, broke them three by three, broke them three by three. Remember I play with the play. Remember I play with the play. Good on Emmanuel Road, girl and boy, figure broke rockstone. Good on Emmanuel Road, girl and boy, figure broke rockstone. We are gonna broke them one by one, broke them two by two, broke them three by three. Finger mash no cry. Remember I play with the play. Remember I play with the play. Remember I play with the play.
And Nancy lost. Eh? Georgia, him reach where? Georgia. It's a thing about Jamaicans, you know. We give direction in color. When you say where you're going, you say when you reach a yellow gate, you go a little further, you're going to see a blue wall. And after you pass the blue wall, you're going to see one house with some red window. Yes. We not, so if he did reach, find the right person, he would have found the wife. Can we hear it one more time for her? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you something. Annotto Bay, you are special. You are special. Because when the Prime Minister of Jamaica finds his way here to be a part of an event for you, it underscores how special you are to him and how special this project is to him and to the people of Jamaica. So when I invite him, I want Annotto Bay to let the Prime Minister know how happy you are that he is here today. So ladies and gentlemen, to deliver the main address, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica. Annotto Bay, let him feel welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Delia, for your wonderful welcome. Allow me to acknowledge your Member of Parliament, Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn. I was preparing to hand him my handkerchief. At a point in time, I saw his eyes welling up, about to tear, as he spoke feelingly about this wonderful town. Allow me as well to acknowledge all the members of the Parish Council who may be here, the Municipal Corporation. Allow me to acknowledge Dr. Wayne Henry, Chairman of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund and Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. Allow me to acknowledge Mr. Omar Sweeney, Managing Director of the Social Investment Fund, and our special guest, Mrs. Leela Burunchik, Country Director for the Caribbean region for the World Bank. And of course, the most important persons in this ceremony, you, the people of Annotto Bay. This is a project of the government of Jamaica in partnership with our long-standing and trusted partners in development, the World Bank, for the benefit of the people of Jamaica, particularly the people of Annotto Bay. The World Bank has been with Jamaica from the outset of our independence. We rely on the World Bank not only for loans, but more so for the technical support that the World Bank affords us. This project is one example of the Partnership for Development. And this project is called the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project, of which the Annotto Bay Coastal Protection Project is a part of it. We have done coastal protection work in Kingston on the waterfront. We have built fire stations and improved fire stations right across Jamaica under this project. And now, I am pleased to be here today to open or hand over, whichever way you want to term it, but we have to have a ceremony to mark the completion of works to protect the town of Annotto Bay from rising sea level caused by the changes in climate. Now, for the people of Annotto Bay, they may appreciate quite readily the need for this work, because they would have experienced the sea rising to the point where it would come over onto the road. And the people here, from time to time when there is heavy weather, would also see the threat that the sea is posing to their buildings and to their livelihoods. But for those persons who have lived here for a long time, they would be able to say that the geography of the coastline has changed. Where they would have had quite a bit of seafront, of seashore that would have acted as a buffer between the sea and the road, and hence their property on the other side, that buffer is slowly disappearing. And therefore, we could conceive of a time not too far from now where this road, which is a key link between Kingston and the eastern end of the island, that road could be compromised. It is not a far-fetched possibility, because in Negril, we have seen the roadways there compromised by sea level rise. We have seen the road levels compromised in Montego Bay recently, when we had an epiphenomenal event that occurred where a northeasterly and a northwesterly weather event occurred, which caused the sea to override the seawalls, destroy the seawalls in many areas. In fact, destroyed the beach, the newly developed Harmony Park. So the threat of climate change, my friends here in the lovely town of Annotto Bay, is real, very real. Governments can't just sit by and say, well, it's just nature. Governments have to act, and governments have to build infrastructure that can withstand some of the natural occurrences of sea level rise and other weather and climate events. That is called adaptation, and in some instances, we also have to mitigate. Now, we are spending here 244 million Jamaican dollars. And that is from a loan from the World Bank. Now, the loan is not so much the important part. What is important is the technical cooperation. And the other important thing is the signal that we send to the rest of the world that Jamaica takes building resilience to climate seriously. Now, the way in which the government works with our development partners is that we have an entity. Well, we have two. One is the PIOJ, and the other is called the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. So when we take loans from the World Bank to do developments like these, they are usually channeled through JSIF, and then they are monitored by the PIOJ. So they work together to ensure that these funds achieve the objectives for which we borrow. It's one thing when you use your own money and waste it. It's another thing to use borrow money and waste it. So we make sure that we have an entity that is using these borrowed funds to operate and manage in such a way that not $1 of that loan is wasted. So today we can stand here and say, because ultimately, even though it's borrowed, it's not a grant, it's not free, you are going to pay back for it. With every GCT, every property tax, every income tax, you eventually pay for it, granted at very low interest rates and over a long period of time, which is why we borrow from the World Bank, because we call these development loans. So now, with the works that have been done, as you look out on the sea, you will see the groins that have been placed, and these groins are specifically designed to help to capture sand that is coming in from the sea. So as the waves come in, they bring in sand, and as they go back out, they help to capture. But they help also to slow down the wave action on the coastline. We have also done some other works along the stretch, 244 meters of works, which would include revetment. I noticed that they have put in some lovely walkways so that you have recreational and leisure areas that you can enjoy the seafront. But the real effect of all of this is that we have protected the town. Which leads me to make certain announcements here that I'm sure the people of Annotto Bay will find very useful. Annotto Bay has a long history. This town has been around from the Spanish occupied Jamaica. And the town was a port town. Ships used to dock here. And the reason for that, obviously, is that sugar was king, and we weren't consuming all the sugar produced, we were exporting it. There are several sugar plantations and sugar estates around this area. And so, whatever was produced, sugar initially and then bananas, would come into Annotto Bay. So the town of Annotto Bay essentially grew up as a port town to facilitate the shipment of sugar and bananas out of Jamaica. When those industries fell away, the town thrived on its own. because villages and districts and communities rose up. And then this became the main road by virtue of history, not because it was properly planned. And I want all of you here who are residents and citizens here to, for a moment, step back from the reality of your town as you have seen it. Because I know that you have never really asked yourself the question, why is the road built so close to the sea? Why is the road built so narrowly with all the shops and market and everything right on the road? Why is the road built without any real sidewalk? You ever ask yourself? I know many of you grew up here and you just accept it. Well, it is just because of the history. It was always a little port town, one road. It wasn't really planned. It cannot be, therefore, that the generations that have followed from that, because it has been that way always, that we don't try to change it. If it is one thing that I am committed to do as your Prime Minister, coming from the post-independence era, is not to leave things as we have inherited them or as we have seen them. We must make it better. There is no reason why this road must stay here and be as narrow as it is and as close to the sea as it is. There is no reason. And that is why we have developed a program to make new routes around all the towns, because it's not just Annotto Bay. Think about it. Almost all our towns are close to the shore, because almost all of them evolved out of a port arrangement to ship sugar, and therefore the commercial activity around the port spurred the formation of the town. But now we have climate change happening, and many of these townships are going to be at risk. So we have to start to think now how we mitigate and adapt to this new reality. And that is why we have tasked the NWA to examine all our towns and to start to build new roads inland on higher ground. So if you look at most of the roads that we are doing and the developments that we are doing, you will begin to see that we are creating an infrastructure of highways that are built inland on higher ground to high standards. So that means that eventually you will always be able to go around Jamaica on our highway system. That's number one. Number two, for communities and townships like Annotto Bay, where the road is right on the seaside, we're going to move those roads inland and around the town. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to find new land and we're going to develop purpose-built urban spaces so that the town can grow and breathe, so that you can walk with comfort and ease, so that taximen can find designated places to park, so that people can go to the market and walk in decent circumstances, so that everybody doesn't have to be on the sidewalk or on the piers trying to sell. It is time for us to pay attention to our townships, because it is the townships in which you go to access the critical services. You come to town to pay your bill, you come to town to shop, you come to town to see your doctor, you come to town to catch the bus. And that space in which you have to function is not always comfortable. Sometimes you come, you vex. You can't find place to walk. Everything is in a chaotic state. The sewer is not working. The drain's not draining properly. And I know you have a drain problem right here because you are at or below sea level. So when the water has to come, it backs up because it confronts the water at the sea. So the water is actually coming up the drain and not going down the drain. So I know the challenges you face. We are not going to be able to change all of that overnight. But I want you to know that you have a government that understands the issues and that we are putting in place the measures to do it. So already we have started planning for another roadway that will go around the town, that will take off some of the traffic, because right now this is the only route. So we're going to create an alternate route that will take off some of the traffic. Now, once there is less traffic here, it means that you will have more convenience in your movement in your town. Because the truth is, I would say that possibly 70% of the traffic that passes through here is not going to stop here. But the mere fact that the traffic is passing through here, it impedes the business that you could easily be doing. Now, I also wanted to use this opportunity to point out that this is not the only revetment work in addition to what we have done in downtown Kingston. The situation in Helshaw, another little coastal area, is not quite a town, but it is a popular destination and it holds great sentimental value for many Jamaicans. I haven't been there in a little while, but the last time I was there, I witnessed firsthand the damage that has been done. The beach is totally gone. And much of that has to do, yes, with climate change activities, but some of it also has to do with how we have fished in the area and how the reefs have been treated, and we have lost much of the reef there. I want the country to know that the Jamaica Social Investment Fund has been doing the studies regarding that problem in Helshaw, and we are very close now to taking some decisions as to what the government can do to intervene. Now is a good time to say to our partners from the World Bank that a renewal or a part 2 of the disaster vulnerability reduction project would be welcome. Because, you know, Jamaicans should appreciate that the challenges we have today, the binding constraint, is not financing. We could have financed this project out of our budget if we wanted to. Obviously, it would mean that we would delay doing another project. But there are some projects that you want to undertake with the participation of the development partners because of the great technical expertise that it gives you access to. And to treat with the situation in Helshaw will require the mobilization of not just local expertise, but international expertise to help us with reclaiming and revitalizing the Helshaw beach. And partnering with the World Bank also gives us access to other funding partners such as the GCF that we could and we do plan to approach for assistance in treating with this issue that we have at Helshaw. So I want Jamaicans to appreciate that your government is working on all fronts, in all areas. You will see me doing housing, You see me doing water, and yes, we pay attention to climate change, coastal issues, environmental issues. It is important that we do these ceremonies because there is a view in our country that nothing now go on. And it is understandable for this view to exist because the truth is, for a long time, for decades, nothing was happening for real. And it wasn't happening because you didn't have the economy to support it. Now, quite a bit is happening, but people still have the mindset that nothing is happening. People still look at the glass and they say the glass is half full. Now, it's a funny thing looking at this glass and saying it is half full or half empty. It is all about perspective. Perspective. When nothing was happening, the glass was empty. Something starts to happen now, and the glass becomes half full. Some people look at it and say the glass half empty. Now, if you say the glass is half empty, it means that you are looking at the glass, but your eyes are cast down. That means you are taking a downward look, a negative view of things. But if you look at the glass and you recognize that you're coming from the bottom and you know at halfway, where should you be looking? You should be looking up. Positive. So I encourage all Jamaicans to, yes, never dismiss that even along this stretch, we haven't completed everything. There are still areas along this stretch which is at risk. But this area is no longer at risk. And so we can now use next year's resources, or as we have said, let's go into a round 2 of the program to address the other area. So if you lived here and you have benefited from this, then your posture would be okay. You would be positive. You would be fine. But we know how Jamaica is. Nobody's going to say, yeah, I benefited, so I'm all right. People are going to be remaining quiet. Who will be making up all the noise? The people who have not yet benefited. But if you allow that to form the narrative, then the perception will be that nothing has happened and no one has benefited. And so as a government, as an administration, we have a duty to you to inform you of everything that is happening, both what has happened and what is being planned. Because when you are informed, you are in a much better position to moderate and control emotions and behavior. With information, you are now logical actors rather than irrational actors. So I take the time to explain in excruciating details all that we are doing so that you can't say, boy, me never did know. And surprisingly, I'm coming from another event where the government of Jamaica with the European Union is doing some redevelopment work for the Castleton Botanical Gardens. And when those works were being done, they kept community sensitization, they informed the persons. But as I alerted the group that had gathered, I could see in their faces that many of them did not know that this was being done. And that is an issue in our society and in our population, that a lot of things going on, many persons just did not know. Everything that I have said here, I have said it before at other events, including that we are going to create an alternate route and create a new road. But again, as I said it, I was looking at the faces, and many persons are only hearing this for the first time. So it means that I have to keep on repeating the message, so that our population can get the information. So in summary, I wish to thank our development partner, the World Bank, for their financing and support for the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project. This project, the Annotto Bay Coastal Protection, is just one project in several. The project is being executed at a cost of approximately $244 million, and it has reinforced and protected approximately 244 meters of a needed 900 meters of coastline. It means, therefore, that the government will have to continue the development going the full way. So we will be back here again, maybe in another year's time, to do another amount. But we are not just going to depend on the revetment and protection works to save the town. We are going to be smart in our physical development planning, and we are going to create another road, another main road that will take the traffic that is not intended for the town to their ultimate destination, so that this town can grow and develop. But we are also going to identify additional lands where the town can expand into. This space, once it is freed up, we intend to develop it for the purposes of recreation and leisure. Ultimately, a new industry could be created here. If this town was not so congested, you could have tourism happening right in this town. And that is the intention of our physical development plan, to allow the towns to develop other industries, including tourism, by making these towns accessible and maneuverable in comfort. We are going to be paying some attention to the situation in Helshaw. We are hopeful that we can get the support of the World Bank, but if not, the government is prepared to finance and carry through that project directly, because we see it as a nationally important project. I want to also commend the efforts of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund and the PIOJ to ensure that these funds are used economically and efficiently to deliver benefits to the people of Jamaica and ultimately the people of this wonderful town. In closing, Annotto Bay is one of my favorite towns. I believe it has such great potential, such undiscovered and underutilized history that can be used for the economic and social benefit of the people. Your government commits to keep on spending and investing in Annotto Bay for Annotto Bay to realize its true potential. God bless you, and thank you for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Michael Holness. Let's hear it one more time for the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Very importantly, outlining what this project is about, what this project means, and that it is for the people of Annotto Bay, which means we have to take care of it. We have to make sure that years to come, that it remains how we have it, right? We have to take care of it. You heard him. We have borrowed it to fix it, so we have to take care of it. Let's hear one more time for the Prime Minister. And so it is an official handing over ceremony, so we're going to go to the most official part, which is the cutting of the symbolic ribbon. I first invite the media to make their way to the area so that they are positioned before we invite our official party to make their way as well. While we do that, I just want to thank everyone who has contributed to this afternoon, all the persons who have come together to organize today's event. We want to big up Dane. You keep hearing Dane. Dane is the project man. Stand for